Listen, kids, if it needs to be normalized, it's not normal. I've been seeing this a lot lately, and you know what? On the surface, it almost sounds like it makes sense. But what is normal? Slavery was normal for thousands of years. The concept of people not being kept as slaves had to be normalized. Women being viewed as property was normal for thousands of years. It had to be normalized that women had equal rights. Taking the land that belonged to a neighboring nation was normal for thousands of years. It had to be normalized that just because you could take something didn't make it rightful. Every last aspect of civil rights, human rights, equal justice, all had to be normalized because not having those things used to be the normal. Normalizing the abnormal is precisely how humanity has advanced, turning things that were normal but wrong into the abnormal. And the entire time throughout human history, as we have repeatedly worked through these processes of normalizing better behaviors and turning wrongful behaviors into the abnormal, there have been those who were kicking and screaming for what they believed was maintaining social traditions, maintaining religious traditions and religious beliefs. The conservatives of every era have always fought against human advancement. Every step of the way, as humanity has learned to do a little bit better, the ruling class, the religious class, the conservative class has always fought against those advancements. By definition, maintaining traditional norms is what conservatism is. You can't separate bigotry from conservatism. The base tenet of conservatism is bigotry, being conservative, to maintain the old school of social norms. But old school is always rooted in bigotry. It always has been. Breaking free of bigotry requires normalizing the abnormal. We have seen this played out time after time throughout history. The conservative is not necessarily tied to political party either. If we were to go back 150 years, we'd discover that the Democrat Party was the conservative of old. They fought to maintain traditions of slavery, of class society. They taught that traditions of slavery were rooted in religious values, that the Bible's laws deemed slavery rightful and just. Democrats were the conservatives. And while political parties change and evolve, the concepts of progressive and regressive do not. The conservative continually believes that at whatever point they are, it is the epitome of human development, although they usually look to sometime just previous to their own time period to be the idealistic time. The conservative of 250 years ago, in what we now call the United States, was a British loyalist. It was a progressive ideology that believed that the people should have rule over themselves and should have independence from a ruling king. Unfortunately, we still had many conservatives involved in the foundation of the United States government who worked very hard to keep a ruling elitist class alive even though we were leaving British rule. People such as Alexander Hamilton, who said that the innovations of the common people must be held in check through the existence of a ruling class. Only a fool would say that humanity has reached the epitome of its existence, or that some era from our past was the epitome of human existence. This makes conservatism a fool's ideology, because it is by definition incapable of growth. When someone proclaims themselves a proud conservative, and that their pappy was a proud conservative, and their grandpappy was a proud conservative, all I hear is that you had 3 generations of people incapable of learning, incapable of development, incapable of growth. Growth is painful for humanity, and it has always been so. Those who refuse to grow must be dragged along, kicking and screaming. And not every sprout that appears while we grow is the correct path, but those are part of the growing pains. People must be allowed to grow, allowed to break free of the normal to find better normals. Because yesterday's normal has always sucked.